Welcome to the Texas Construction Association podcast, our number 3 Trace show. We welcome to the show Dr. Lindsie Almquist, president of the Craftsman Center for the Trades. And folks, Craftsman Center for the Trades is dedicated to CTE in Texas. You can spell that word out, dedicated. They do this stuff 24/7, 365, and they are a fantastic place to grow our construction world in Texas. Lindsie, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Happy Tuesday, Brian. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here, and welcome. I hope you're all having a wonderful day.
Thank you, Lindsie. You know, you and I met at the Craftsman Center for the Trades, Williamson County Trades Day in Taylor. Seems like about 2 months ago. And first, I want to give everyone an overlay of that. That was incredible. I've been to a bunch of these. That was the largest by number that I've seen students attend, and you got that all together. Kudos to you and your staff. You had school districts from around Austin, from around Waco, I believe some from near Dallas. Huge turnout was there. Talk about the breakdown of school districts there, Lindsie. How many kids in total you had there, and give everyone a window in as to the companies or organizations which were in attendance also.
Yeah, absolutely. So we had about 1,000 students from the Central Texas area. So we had small school
Wow.
districts, rural, all the way to urban. So we're kind of located in Northeast in terms of the locality of where we were at, which was the Williamson County Expo Center. So in terms of the children and the students that came, we invited 7th, 8th graders because they're really making their track decisions. And when I say track decisions, I mean they're making their course selections for high school, and they're making those decisions fairly earlier than what maybe we did when we were in high school. And it's really important for them to be exposed. So our number one goal for that event was that we engage students in the trades. In 1986, there was a book called Gold Collar. And one of the things that I think is really important for no matter what generation we're in, because I think there was a huge push, right, for college. And I have a doctorate. I went to UT. I honor that. But I think there's also something to be said for people being disrespectful to other concepts. And so I really think that this is the opportunity at the Trades Day to really change that concept to gold collar. And in fact, Craftsman Center's colors were intentionally made black and gold for that reason. And we kind of evolved the whole experience around that idea. So the students walked in, they were with their counselors or their teachers or their coaches or their whoever their point of contact was. We gave an informational moment where we explained the goal for them is to engage in the trades. Don't just walk up and look at the booth and talk to the person. And in fact, the vendors, which we call exhibitors or sponsors, they came knowing they had to have an engaging activity with the students. So we had companies such as a commercial plumbing company that actually had them solder copper pipes and cut copper pipes. We had which was really, I thought this was really neat. You do a lot of simulation in a lot of the programming. And so one of the apprentice programs, which is the plumbing, I forget just right now exactly what the number is, but there are local union for plumbing and they're amazing. Yeah. They actually had the simulation and the guys were so engaging with the students. You could tell the kids just kind of blocked over there, right? So then you have Baylor Scott and White, they're allowing the kids to do CPR. You had IBEW, the Electrical Brotherhood, who actually had where they could do the electrical circuit and the bulb lights up. You had an amazing program with Salt, cool, which is a company that does electrical and plumbing, and they were engaged with them. And so it's just really neat experiences where students can have hands-on activities and really engage in the trades. And so we had large corporate companies all the way to what you may call like a mom and pop, which I think is like the backbone of America, right? Our small businesses and our construction businesses. And so we also had big like Samsung was there, and so that was really neat. They got to put on their white suits that they do to keep safe in the labs, all the way to like Salt and Copra and S&D, which are your commercial residential type companies that really engaged in the trades. And what was really neat, my favorite moment, Brian, and I have to share this right up front, is there's a student, a girl that walked out. She's taller than me. She was a beautiful young lady. And the first thing out of her mouth is, I know what I want to do now.
Oh,
and
that's
like,
awesome.
Coming from being a former high school principal, I always call myself a recovering high school principal, but high school, middle school, elementary principal, and then an area superintendent after that, I have a love for that moment. That's the moment that really, when we talk about CT, career technical education, we're talking about engaging kids in the trades, and we're really trying to build them into a concept of that gold collar. And that was that moment for me that was full circle. So on behalf of Craftsman Center, we do want to take this time and say thank you to our exhibitors and vendors. We had over 20 and they were amazing. And it was such a good day. We had such good feedback from the counselors and the people that were engaged that day from the student and the educational entity side.
That's awesome. I mean, that golden moment is why you do it. And so well said by you, Lindsie. Tell everyone what Craftsman Center for the Trades is. Is it a school, a learning center? We know you are headquartered in Eastern Williamson County. We know the Dowdy family founded Craftsman. What was the original vision, and what do you do today for young people in the trades?
That's a great question. So the Craftsman Center is a consortium for apprenticeship. So it's a trade school, but the concept is apprenticeship consortium. So we
Right.
really believe in the potential and the impact mentor, which is the apprentice's master or journeyman plumber. And we have plumbing. We work with the IBEW for electrical, and we're working currently to get an HVAC company and or companies engaged. So right now we're actually talking to several different plumbing companies. Of course, we have the founders companies that are part of the consortium, but we're looking at other plumbing companies. We're talking to different electrical outlets and partners, and then HVAC. And so the goal is to encourage those three trades predominantly right now. That's where our focus is, and to really build out those partnerships so that it's really almost like a co-op concept, but the
Right.
apprenticeship model where if I was your apprentice, Brian, I would literally live and learn under you and you are my mentor. And we see in America the huge gap, especially with gentlemen, but with women as well, where there's not that mentorship. And this is that moment. I mean, you're with them all the time on the job training, and then you're in class through Craftsman Center. And so that consortium on the job concept of really building that DOL program out to what it was meant to be is really important for us. And so we are a DOL model in terms of our approved apprenticeship, and we are on the educational training list provider for Texas for right now plumbing with our commercial and residential apprentices right now.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And man, you network like nobody's business and are super engaged and really care about this, Lindsie. So I highly endorse folks. I highly endorse Craftsmen. They're just great at what they do. And then honestly, Lindsie, I know parents are interested in Craftsmen who will listen to this, watch this. Their kids who want to build things are really excited. So the kids can come to you and I was looking at the website that they can pay tuition at low or no cost to further their goal of becoming a certified tradesman in construction. Just tell folks for informational purposes, how does that work?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we have two different tracks. We have a pre-apprentice plumbing track, which is where we work with high schools. So we have two current school districts, Taylor and Thrall ISD. So if your
Nice.
student is around that and or able to get into those school districts and or so part of those school districts, we
Wow.
do have a plumbing track. We have a master plumber. House Bill 636 in the state of Texas says that for students in the plumbing track, there's a 4-year cohort model. It's principles of construction or welding. Then they go into plumbing 1 and 2, and then they have a career prep concept with
Wow.
a actual plumbing company, and they will walk out with their tradesmen. So if you have a student that's in like 7th and 8th grade and you're a parent, we want to consider that as an option. We are currently talking to other school districts. It's just usually we really need a cohort of students. So if there's only 1 or 2, they really need to join another co-op. So we are talking to different school districts about building these co-ops, because if each school district has a couple of students, then you could build a class. And then the next option is your apprentice program. So we actually have students right now, whether you're homeschooled, in public school, charter, and or in private. We currently have conversations around coming to Craftsman Center as a student and then working with a company that's one of our partners as their employee or team
Right.
member. And so you would then, the next step would be coming to us, sharing your interest, and we do not do things as a number. So if you're going to be looking for somewhere where you expect to like submit a number and you become a student ID, that is not where we want to be, nor will we ever want to be that. We
Right.
want you to reach out to us. There's a contact information page on our website, and we want you to share your interest, and then we're going to have a conversation. We're going to meet with you. We really
Right.
believe that at the end of the day, this is about humans and about really that you're not just a worker, you're not just getting a career, you're a human with a lot of layers. And we believe that it's really important to take care of people in this business. And so I always say, like, we get to do plumbing and electrical and HVAC, but really we get to be with people. And so
That,
that's just the kind of icing on the top. And
that's
so what
wonderful.
we did with our current students that are coming in the cohort, and or if you're interested in looking at the cohort for this next fall, we are starting with another cohort, which is level 1, plumbing 101. You would then be matched with a company or find a company that is interested in working with Craftsman Center if that's something you're wanting to do, maybe a different company than what we currently have. We would love to
Yep.
consider them. And then you would then essentially let us know. And our current student, I'm just thinking about right now, he was a senior at St. Mary's Catholic School in Taylor, and he had multiple conversations and decided this is the route. And so he's now going to be working with a residential plumbing company, S&D, and he's going to be coming to Craftsman Center one night a week or twice a week, depending on our schedule next year for his training, so that in less than 4 years, he can become a journeyman. So that's really neat. So if you're looking or you have a student or a child that is being considered in the trade or wanting to consider the trades, it's really important if they're younger and middle school, thinking about that track because they could get a tradesman at the end of that track. And then if they're more junior high school or senior high school, that we have a conversation about what that needs to look like because they can start making almost $20 an hour more,
Right.
maybe $20 plus, excuse me, more than they would if they were just sitting in class getting a degree that they may or may not know that they want. And so my feedback to you parents in this moment is if that's their dream, let them dream it. I came from a world where I wanted to have a doctorate. I wanted to be in schools and education. I wanted to be serving students. That was my dream. So if you would have pushed me away from that, I would have just pushed right back, right? But if
Right.
you have a student, such as our current student, just most recent individual that has been accepted, he knew his dream. His dream is that he wanted to come to an apprenticeship model and not sit in class and wait for 2 years to get out. And that's
Right.
a decision you as a family have to make. More importantly, that the individual has to make. And then the last but not least is women, students and individuals of color. If you're on a track of you don't think that this is for you, I want you to know that just because I'm white and or I'm a woman doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what color you are. It doesn't matter what sex you are. You can be in the trades.
Yep.
And what's really cool about the apprentice with the State Board of Plumbing is that you can get your apprentice license by paying, I think it's about $15 on the website and getting your fingerprints at 16 years of age, as long as you are a U.S. citizen. If you're not, there's some caveats that we'd have to navigate through the State Board of Plumbing, and you would go on the State Board of Plumbing website and handle that with them. But this is not an exclusive opportunity. This is very much one of those opportunities that doesn't matter where you come from, you can do this. And I was born and raised in a cinder block home with no air conditioning and heat. So if I can do it, you can do it. And we are your cheerleaders and we want that for you. So families, please know that no matter who's hearing this today, if this is a dream that you have, or if this is a thought that you have, we're ready and willing to have a conversation, and do not exclude yourself for whatever reason, because you're a part of who we are if this is what you want.
Wow, what a voice. I'm ready to take on the world listening to you. This is great, Lindsie. That's so well said. And to be aligned closely with the Taylor ISD or anything in Taylor, man, wow, the epicenter of the world now with the Samsung plant, coming to Taylor right outside of Taylor. That's phenomenal. Great place to be, literally and figuratively. Talk about what we call at TCA, Lindsie, and you and I have discussed this before, the gap. The
Mhm.
gap in Texas. We got a lot of huge jobs in Texas. Really, the country's number one state economy, one of the top economies locally in and around Austin, in the nation. Definitely booming. Seems like Austin's always booming, thankfully, in Central Texas. but we got to get a lot more kids certified in the construction trades because a whole generation is also retiring literally as we speak.
Yes, so the first thing that makes me think of is when you go to Korea right now, they talk about three cities in the United States: Los Angeles, New York, and unbelievably so, Taylor City.
Wow. Taylor
And so
City. Huh.
I remember
Wow.
that Judge Gravel from Williamson County shared that with me recently, and it made me kind of stop, drop, and pivot, right? Because UT
Right.
just announced their huge, I think it's 60 acres. So they're going to have a UT Taylor now by Samsung.
Wow.
So this is the epicenter of the United States right now. And while people will say it's like the new Silicon Valley, it's also serving a lot of different needs, right? We have such a diverse area. You have urban, suburban, um, rural. You still have really rural areas.
Right.
And so the reason I say all of those things is because when you think about these, for example, we go back to Trades Day and we think about the people that came, Georgeson, right? We think about the Texas Rural Water Association. We think about Train Technologies, which is amazing how a wonderful, neat device can run electricity, then therefore run HVAC, right? You
Right.
think about Fiber First and the fiber around here. Think about all these companies, and this is the epicenter. And so, why is that important to what you asked? It's because where you are at is where you grow. Where you
Right.
water yourself is where the plant gets watered and grows. And
Wow.
so
So
the
well
reason
said.
I say that is because you can be resistant or you can say this is a blessing and this is where we're at. And those of many people, I've only been here about 16 years, but many people in this area kind of have been here a really long time. And
Right.
what I would say is there's a lot of opportunity to serve a lot of great people, and
Right.
people that may or may not believe and or see the way that you may see, and that's okay, because at the end of the day, without these three, HVAC, plumbing, electrical, we would be a third world country.
Yeah.
And so when you talk about that gap and you talk about all these things I kind of just mentioned, if we do not create a track such as the pre-apprentice track in high school or the apprentice consortium concept that we have for adults, we will have a ton of retired, amazing plumbers that built America, literally, because without them, we would not have these commercial buildings, we would not have these homes. We will have a gap, and we will not have that to serve the people that are coming here. So not only do we have a gap of age because they're aging out, retirees, we have a gap because we have a substantial amount of people, substantial amount of growth, and we're not creating these individuals skilled labor force. And when I say skilled labor force, I mean educated skilled labor force. That's what
Right.
Craftsman Center for the Trades is about. It's not just that you can put a pipe together. You and I could figure that out, Brian. We
Right.
have YouTube. It's
Right.
about the safety and well-being of our country, of the people that are around us.
People
We've
that
won
become
wars
certified.
from
Certified.
plumbing.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, we've
Yeah.
won wars because of plumbers.
Right.
In America, we have won across the sea because of our plumbing. So
Right.
my pushback on the gap is if we don't work on creating a gold collar concept that says this is where you can serve and be really good. If you love using your hands, if you love working with things like such as that, plus a little bit of the administrative side, this is your world. You can make
Wow.
it. Guess what? There's so many needs right now that if you are like well organized, well learned, well educated plumber, you will immediately be able to work your way to get to your master responsible plumber and have a business and serve and create generational wealth for your family.
And
And so that's really important to us.
you nailed it. Yeah, they can make the average 4-year college debt right now. Just the average is 38,920 plus. Goes up to 55,000 plus if it's a private college or university. So they can make that the first year or second year out if they're a journeyman or a certified tradesman. It was so well said. I could listen to you for 2 hours. It's been in the press lately, speaking of like the UT Taylor, that's going to offer such great infrastructure for the construction industry in Texas, so to speak. And then we have the Austin Infrastructure Academy. What does that mean to you, Lindsie? Do you view it, hey, it's good for the construction industry in our world, helping to build around Austin? Or are you just not concerned with it? Or is it something completely different from what you all are doing? I guess it's really, I know it's great for construction. And it seems like kind of the same mindset, would you say?
Yeah, I believe that if we all work together, the tide rises all ships, right?
Right,
So I
right,
have a very, some people would say like an over positive view, but I mean I've been around long enough and been through a lot of things that I'm like, it's not really positive, it's legit. Like if you and I raise the tide, which is what you do in the world that you work in, and I've only known you a little bit, but based on what I've seen with you, you're about engaging and enhancing, right? We do
yep,
that for all, then guess what? We all get to rise. And then therefore the people that we serve, the people of this community, this area, they get to rise because they'll
right,
have what they need. They won't, I mean, you think about plumbing, it has saved more people than the medical field because of
right,
safety, right?
right,
If it wasn't, if a pipe is done wrong, people will die because of
right,
the smell, the back, all the things, right? And so I think about when we talk about UT, we talk about Craftsman Center, we talk about all these different things. Like to me, it's a partnership. It's about there's going to be different folks in different boats, and that's okay.
right.
And
I always say win-win just creates another win, and it does.
yeah, it really does. And like two positives are a positive. Like it's simple math, you know? And our mission at Craftsman Center, Brian, and the individuals listening is for the trades. It is really, it's their mission is to empower pathways and partnerships that transform lives and grow communities. And so
Right,
the reason I say this right now is because it's very applicable to your question that we're essentially navigating those partnerships, we're navigating those pathways, and we're wanting to empower. So when we talk about partners, whether they're business partners, whether they're other educational entity partners, there's all kinds of kinds. And I do believe it's really important, and this kind of goes back to the whole pushback comment from earlier, is we can push back or we can say what unites us, what empowers us, and what raises the tides. And let's do that together. And so this is that's my belief. That's our belief at Craftsman Center is if this is the track for you, then we have a place for you. If you want to go get your doctorate, like this is not the place for you, and that's okay. And
right.
you know what? I have a doctorate, and look, I'm working for Craftsman Center. So you never know because all kinds of kinds. And again, the tide raises all ships. And so I
That's
think it's important for us to think that way because we're really serving our people at the end of the day. It's about serving people.
That's why I love your voice and the voice of Craftsman Center for the Trades. Is you mentioned that partnerships are
Mm-hmm.
deeper, wider, longer. They're generational. You know, for Craftsman Center, for TCA, for the young person, most importantly, entering the construction business, wanting to be in that and make a valuable, worthwhile career, long career in construction trades. Those partnerships are generational. It's very deep and important. Lindsie, thank you so much for joining us today. Sign us off. I'm going to sign us off, but give folks any more information you want to give about what you do, what Craftsman Center for the Trades does, any hot news that Craftsman Center for the Trades has coming up as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're more than welcome to check us out on craftsmancenter.org. There is a contact form there and it comes straight to me. So that is the easiest way to get a hold of me if you have any questions or if you're interested in the program. We aspire to lead a thriving community of partners. This is part of our vision who create economic success for all through technology-based trade education. So we are about, as Brian said, partnerships and pathways. And so however we can do that, I have a background in public ed. I've served in higher ed, and I'm also an adjunct professor for HTU. I believe in making sure that you have someone to talk to about your dreams. And so if you don't even know if this is your thing, that's okay. We're here to have a conversation. The newest thing at Craftsman Center is that we did apply for an $8 million government grant. Is our biggest grant we've ever applied for. We normally do grants such as 40,000. And so that's on the horizon. My prayer and our hope is that we get some of it because we do believe there is a blessing to serve gold collar standard trades. And this will enhance the IBEW's work, our work with trying to get HVAC companies partnerships, as well as the plumbing tracks for pre-apprentice and apprenticeship. And then last but not least is that we have our trades day next year in February again. We're going to go ahead and announce it in the next couple of months, but it will be at the end of February, and we're excited. And we would love for businesses, any construction business, it doesn't have to be in Central Texas, to join us. And the only way that you can join us is by being registered. And you can contact me on our website. Again, that's craftsmancenter.org. And we're honored to have you. Thank you, Brian, and thank you, Texas Construction Association, for all you do. We're honored to be a part of a partnership with you.
You bet, you bet. And what a voice. Dr. Lindsie Almquist, president of Craftsman Center for the Trades. She's going to be going on world tour soon. What a voice for construction, seriously. Dr. Lindsie Almquist, folks, president of the Craftsman Center for the Trades. Thank you, Lindsie. Go to craftsmancenter.org to learn more. That's craftsmancenter.org. Thanks so much, everybody. We'll see you on the next podcast.